Good evening, everyone. Ethan Stieber here with Stieber Weather Forecasting. Quick winter weather update for you here at the 9 o'clock hour on Friday, November 28th. Hopefully you had a great Black Friday. Got a lot of shopping done if that was your thing. We've got a little bit of winter weather to talk about. It's going to be a little bit more abbreviated than it was this morning if you checked out that video. On your screen right now is the current hazards from the National Weather Service. Everyone in the area along and south of I-70 to down along I-64 is under a winter weather advisory. Those kick off anywhere between midnight tonight and about 6 a.m. and those will last 24 hours. So if you're along the I-64 corridor, Wayne, Edwards, Wabash counties, they start at midnight tonight, go until midnight tomorrow night. Everyone else, those go into effect 6 a.m. tomorrow morning and will last until 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Regardless, we see some snowfall starting out in the morning hours that'll last through most of the day, potentially having some changeover in there as well. Notice winter storm warnings are further off to the north and to the west. I think the bullseye of the snow is going to be northern Illinois, where they could see, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches, maybe even, foot plus readings down around or up around the Moline, Quad Cities area, and northern Illinois from Rockford over to Chicago. Let's look at a couple different future cast models. And then I'll show you my updated final call snowcast thoughts. So here's the HRRR. Remember this morning when we looked at this, it had a really northern track to it. The models pretty well continued that throughout the day today. Notice here comes the snow right around daybreak tomorrow. This is 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Snow starting to work in across the area. Notice what I want to point out to you is notice all of these darker blue shadings. The darker the blue shading, the heavier the snow bands are. I think there is the potential for some heavier snowfall rates tomorrow morning through midday, and the National Weather Service has kind of hinted at that as well, where we could see some heavier snowfall totals fall in the morning. Now, they're not going to stick around all day, but we could see that throughout the day tomorrow, especially in the morning hours. So here we go again. As we go through lunchtime, according to the HRRR, here now is lunchtime. Maybe we catch a little bit of a lull in the precip activity, but mostly snow across the area, a little bit of rain, as it says in about Clay County. As we go further throughout the day, we transition over to mainly rain along that Route 50 corridor and south. As that low tracks off to the north, here's now 7 p.m. Tomorrow night. We're pretty well done with precip, unless you're along that I-70 corridor, maybe a mix or some light rain showers with that, before everything is out of here by daybreak on the day on Sunday. Here's a slightly different look at it. This is the 3-kilometer NAM. Remember, this one had a little bit more of a southerly track of the low pressure system, and that's pretty well stuck around as well. So here we are at daybreak tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., snow starting across much of the area. Again, I think that snow will kick off somewhere between about 4 and 6 o'clock tomorrow morning for much of us. A little bit earlier out to the west, a little bit later along the river. Snow throughout much of the day. The 3-kilometer NAM, though, is slower at changing it over to a rain scenario or a mixed scenario. According to the 3-kilometer NAM, maybe the temperatures get in a little bit or warm up a little bit slower than according to the HRRR. But notice, same time frame, it pushes everything out of here pretty much by midnight Sunday night. Any lingering showers are done definitely by daybreak Sunday morning. What I want to show you now is the temperatures. This is kind of the big uncertainty that we've got with this system tomorrow. Here are forecast temperatures at daybreak tomorrow, 6 a.m. Notice everyone's in the upper 20s or right around that 30-degree mark. By lunchtime, according to the 3-kilometer NAM, we're all right around freezing, a little bit warmer off to the south along the I-64 corridor. We warm up a little bit more as we go into the afternoon hours. This is 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m., and notice everyone's in the 32 to 33 degree range with some cooler temperatures still up around I-70. That's going to start that changeover from rain to snow or make it a really wet snow, really heavy snow, which is going to cause some of that compaction. And one more for you, by 6 p.m. Tomorrow night, everyone is above freezing. That would, obviously hint at some rain showers left over for anything still sticking around at that point. Notice there will be a cold front that this low pressure system is trailing. That's what, if you notice all this blue colder air, that's going to push back into the area for the day on Sunday. So it will get cooler behind the low pressure system. So watch for any refreezing on the roads Sunday night or Sunday during the day into Sunday evening, especially any of those untreated roads out like that. This is the Winter Storm Severity Index from the National Weather Service. Again, everyone pretty much in minor impacts for this system. It doesn't look to be a high impact system for anybody across the area. Highest impacts are going to be further north, up around Bloomington, Peoria, back off into northern and northwestern Illinois. As far as snowfall is concerned, here's the National Weather Service's thoughts. 3 to 6 inches along the I-70 corridor. Anywhere, it's got 1 to 4 in Robinson, Trace to 3 inches in Olney. You kind of get the picture from the National Weather Service. Again, I showed these graphics this morning. This is their most likely range: 1 to 4 in Olney, 1 to 5 over towards Salem. Still holding to that 3 to 8. In Effingham, I think the higher end totals just aren't going to pan out. Low end, 9 in 10 chance of this happening. We may see a half an inch at the very minimum along that Route 50 corridor. 2 inches, I think, is a pretty good bet along the I-70 corridor, less further to the south. I'm not even going to show you the high-end amount because at this point it's just eye candy, and it's not worth looking at. So one thing to keep in mind as we look at our Steber Weather Forecasting Final Call Snowcast. Totals have not changed. I'm still keeping with the 0 to trace maybe an inch down in our southern counties: Wayne, Edwards, Wabash. Further to the north along the Route 50 corridor up to the Route 33 corridor, anywhere from next to nothing to about 2 inches is possible. I-70 corridor's got the best chance of seeing some snow, anywhere from 1 to 4 inches along that I-70 corridor. Notice the big forecasting variables here. When the precip changes over from rain or from snow to rain is going to be a big kicker to all this. If it changes over earlier in the morning, you're going to see less of those snowfall totals than if it changes over later in the day. There will also be, like I said earlier, some heavier snowfall bands in the morning. Would not surprise me to see, maybe an inch or two an hour in the morning, especially if we have some heavier bands start to push through. And also watch for some refreezing Saturday night into Sunday after everything is out of the way and temperatures cool back down below freezing. One last thing just to mention, these snowfall totals will be what's most likely to be seen Saturday evening before it warms up. Between the snow being heavy and wet, that's going to compact it, as well as with the ground temperatures not quite being frozen yet, most of this is going to melt through the night on Saturday night. So if you go to bed Saturday night and you see a couple inches of snow on the ground, you may wake up Sunday morning, getting ready to head out the door, and there may not be much of anything left on the ground Sunday morning. That's because the temperatures will be warmer through Saturday overnight, at least the first part of Saturday overnight, before the low pressure moves off to our east. And that's going to melt a lot of the snowfall off. The rain will also melt a little bit off as well. So that's my final call snowcast. That's what we're looking at. I feel pretty good about these these totals right now. So feel free to share this out. This will also be posted on the Steber Weather Forecasting page by itself. Again, biggest variables in here: when the precip changes over from snow to rain, and if we see any heavy snowfall bands in the morning. Hey, tomorrow as we go through the event, make sure to share any pictures you get or any snowfall totals. If you get those measured, share those right here on the Steber Weather Forecasting page. Love to see it and help out with some forecast verification. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for updates as we go throughout the event and on into next week.